I do believe that the world is shifting to a higher level of consciousness, that the entire world, the entire planet Earth is shifting into a higher level of consciousness. And some people might think, Francis, what shift? Like what shift? I don't see a shift, Francis. I see chaos, I see negativity, I don't see awakening anywhere. But you see, sometimes awakening brings up the shadow to the surface. And that's what I believe is going on. Nonetheless, though, we're not going to investigate that too much in this video. What we are going to be talking about in this video is what I call the 2021 shift. Okay, and I made up that word on my own. And what the 2021 shift is in a nutshell, the world heading towards more consciousness and love. And I'm going to share with you in this video 3 things you need to know about the 2021 shift and how you can be in alignment with the world heading in a direction of consciousness and love, and how you can align with that to the best of your abilities, and how you can expect that my belief and my opinion is that the world is going to head in that direction. That's just my belief. That's my perspective. That's what I see. That might not be what you see, but that is what I see. And that's the reality that I see, and that's the reality and timeline that I'd like to create. So let's talk about it. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program, to let go of your ego and align with the vision that your heart wants to create. So what's the first thing you need to know about this 2021 shift that Francis is talking about? Living in fear is not going to work. That's the first thing you need to know. I could talk about the 2021 shift, which again, it's just literally a collection of words that I created to represent the truth of the fact that consciousness and love is going to be where the world heads one way or another. At least that's the timeline that I see. Maybe in another reality, the fear takes over. But you see, that's not what I'm going to allow to happen based on my level of consciousness and what I see. Not as an arrogant thing like, oh, my consciousness is higher. No, it's like, I don't want the world to go into fear. I don't want that. So here's the solution. Understand that in your life individually and also collectively, living in fear is not going to work. When has living in fear ever worked? I mean, yeah, there's a time where it works, when you want to survive, when you need to take care of your survival needs. But you see, what I believe the world is headed in is a direction of not just living to survive, but to transcend survival and step into what I call thriving. I was going to say thrival, but that's not a word. Thriving, you see? Not survival, but thrival, which is surviving. But we need to start, it's literally not even a word, but hey, here's what's coming through. We need to stop living in fear and start living with more love. So understand that living in fear is literally not going to work in your life. And if it works just for some basic survival needs, and you don't step into the highest timeline possible that allows you to create the most of what your heart wants. And in fact, I do believe that there are serious consequences to not living in fear. There's serious consequences to not living in love. And hey, maybe I didn't make a mistake on purpose there. By no reason, at least. I didn't do it on purpose, but maybe there's no coincidence there, because there is consequences to living into love. There is consequences to being fearless. But I believe in my life, the consequences of living in fear are way worse than the consequences of following my heart and whatever risks I need to take, whatever I need to let go of in my life, whatever shifts need to happen in my life internally or externally. To me, all that's worth it, because I've seen the consequences of living in fear. I've seen firsthand in my experience how dysfunctional and toxic living in fear can be for my life and for the people around me. It's just what it is. Living in fear is one of the most toxic things that can happen in my life. I'm not going to say for you, because I can make a bold claim and say, yep, that is the case for everybody. But hey, if that's too bold of a statement right now in this moment, I'll just speak for myself. living in fear has never been successful for me. It has only caused suffering for me and the people around me. And so the more that this consciousness starts to ramp up on the planet, and the more that consciousness starts to flow into these human vessels on this planet, which is debatable if that's happening. But hey, based on what's happening in the world, I don't see that as a possibility, as not a possibility. All this stuff in the world could be just the shadow coming up to the surface. Now, I don't have any rigid beliefs there, but what I will say though is that if the reality that I want to live in is based on more consciousness and love, and if the world is going to head in a direction which is based more on consciousness and love, which will be the best thing for humanity, surprise, surprise, living in fear is not going to be in alignment with that. So I'm not saying that the reality is going to be aligned with more consciousness and love. I can't make that claim. Anything's possible. Unfortunately, the truth is that a reality that is going to be completely aligned with consciousness and love is not a guaranteed reality. You have to do the inner work, and you have to stop living in fear to make that a reality. See, sometimes talk about the 2021 shift, and it's like, Francis, where's the shift? I see a shift because I'm working on myself. I'm connecting with individuals that are also working on themselves, and we're creating the new world together. But see, if people are living in fear, they could be in a whole new vibration, and a whole complete, not a new vibration, but a completely different vibration. And because that's the reality they're choosing. I'm not choosing that reality. I'm choosing a reality of consciousness and love. And if you want to join me on that new earth, if you want to join me on that new level of consciousness, living in fear is not going to work. It's going to cause suffering for you. It's going to cause suffering for the people around you. And of course, it's not going to allow you to create what your heart wants. Because the heart does not live in fear. The heart lives in alignment with love, because the heart is love. Presence and consciousness is love. It is what the 2021 shift is about, what the Great Awakening is about. It's not about something that's just happening. It's something that humans are choosing, if that's the reality you want to choose. Now, the second thing you need to know about the 2021 shift, why do I say it like this? Because there's no shift outside of you. You create the shift. See, you create the new earth. Now let's talk about this. The second thing you need to know is that I believe society is moving towards the heart. Now I know that contradicts everything that I said, but I don't see what the alternative is. One way or another, society is going to move towards a higher consciousness state. We can't live in fear forever, and if we do, well then humans won't be here anymore because we'll destroy ourselves, right? There's two options here. Either fear takes over and humans kill themselves. That's it. That's literally what happens. But you see, because reality is infinite consciousness, in reality that I would like to step into, and the reality that I see for humans, is either we kill ourselves because we live in fear collectively, or we move towards the heart and society integrates that shadow and we move up to a higher level. So if society is going to move forward and humans don't kill themselves, well then it's going to be a heart-based society. That's what it is. Either we destroy ourselves because our ego self-destructs and destructs everything around itself, or we move towards the heart. That's in a nutshell, either we move towards love or move towards fear. And if you would like to be aligned with the timeline of love, which that timeline exists too with the fear, that can be a reality in another, infinite possibility, but which again doesn't exist one day at all. It's happening now because the present moment is the only moment that exists. Whoa. So what you gotta understand, that if you wanna align with the reality of love, you wanna have that perspective of society is going to be more aligned with the heart. So that's what you need to know. Society is going to be aligned with the heart. And do you wanna be a part of that? Do you wanna be aligned with that? Do you wanna be aligned with the reality of society moving towards the heart? Is that a reality that you would like to be a part of? If so, have that awareness that, okay, society is moving towards the heart, and if I want to be a part of this, I gotta start doing the inner work. I gotta start focusing on myself. I gotta start not rejecting the fear outside of me, but integrating it and showing it compassion and not unnecessarily feeding into conflict that doesn't matter, okay? That's not helping anybody. Feeding into the conflict, going into conflict that's necessary to cleanse shadows, but not losing ourselves in the fear and then living in fear again. See, this is the most important thing. So the third thing you need to know, I'm not going to make it complicated, is society is moving towards the heart. That's a 2021 shift. And if you want to have the most successful reality, if you want to create a life of abundance and be aligned with this new earth energy, then my invitation to you is to start living from the heart, because that's where society is headed. And you can be in alignment with that, or you cannot be in alignment with that, but the choice is yours. And the third thing I want to share with you, there's a lot more I want to share, but I don't want to make it too long and overextend this video. So just understand that society is moving towards the heart, and if you want to be a part of that, well, then you got to live from the heart as well. You don't have to live from the heart, but if you want to be aligned with that, then in that case, you got to live from the heart. So the third thing you need to know about the 2021 shift is that relationships are everything. Relationships are everything. See, we like to think of the fact that, oh, I'm doing everything by myself. I don't need people outside of me. A huge trap you can fall into when you realize the truth of who you are as well, is that, oh, all the answers are within me, so I don't need humans anymore. I don't need any of that. What is that about separating yourself from the oneness of all that is, where the people around you are a piece of you and they are a part of the oneness of all that is? When you say everything's within you, that's not the human part of you. That's the infinite consciousness part of you. And infinite consciousness includes every single human being. So to truly live in a heart-based society, if you want to be in a heart-based society, that's going to be a unified human collection. The human collective is going to work together. They're going to work together. So relationships are everything in the 2021 shift. You don't want to be alone. You want to connect with like-minded individuals that live under the same principles and the same values that you live under, to connect with other heart-based people. That's the 2021 shift. That's the Great Awakening. It's about bringing your energy of like-minded souls, bringing your energy and connecting with other like-minded souls that are also on the same frequency as you, that are also aligned with the same principles and values as you. This is how we create the 2021 shift together. Some people leave a comment down below my channel and they're like, Francis, I don't see a shift happening. It's all a bunch of hogwash. They never really use that word, but that's a funny word to use right now. Like, oh, Francis, it's all a bunch of hogwash. I don't see a shift happening, and there's not. Yeah, see, that's the reality you're creating because you are seeing all that. I don't see that. I see higher consciousness values. I see shadow coming up to the surface so that we can cleanse the old and step into the new. And that's what I see. And do you want to join me on that vision? Well, then subscribe and join me on the vision and do the inner work as well. Don't just subscribe, but do the inner work for yourself. But understand that relationships are everything. In a heart-based society, we know who we are as consciousness, but we also understand that in that infinite field of consciousness, right now, in this present moment at least, we're still going to be a society and we're still going to be humans. So it's about honoring the heart and also the society that we live in. You can't separate the two. This is what it means to have a heart-based society, is to understand who we are as consciousness, not as some lovey-dovey, oh my God. No, it's just like, yeah, that's just what it is. Just normalize it. Just normalize it. Yeah, well, you're infinite consciousness. Okay, that's great. How can we ground that and make the world actually a better place? It's like, oh yeah, infinite consciousness, raw one. Yeah, infinite consciousness, it is one. But how can we work together as humans to ground the infinite into the physical and create the best possible physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, energetically? How can we use the inner world to create the best society, right? And so if you want to do that, you got to understand that relationships are going to be a huge part of this. So who do you surround yourself with? Who do you let into your frequency? Are you hanging out with people that aren't in alignment with the same values as you? Well, then what you're doing is you're feeding into a reality that you don't even want to create. Not that you don't have anything against that person. We want to be conscious of who you give your consciousness and energy to, because that's creating your reality, and what you create in your reality is also creating the 2021 shift. The Great Awakening starts with you. The Great Awakening and the 2021 shift starts with how you create your individual reality. And then the more that as individuals we do the inner work, we raise our consciousness, we do it in an integrated and grounded way where we have relationships around us that have that same mentality, not just mentality, but consciousness and energy. This is what practically will create the 2021 shift. Not as some lovey-dovey, oh yeah, you know, the 2021. No, it's like you do the work, you surround yourself with the people that are also doing the work, you are conscious of who you give your energy to, you perhaps run a conscious business of some sorts, and you do things at a practical level while you do the inner work. You see, now we're talking here. Now we're talking about how to create the 2021 shift in a grounded and practical way. And I believe that part of that starts with the relationships that you have in your life, who you surround yourself with. How conscious are you of the fact that you are a human? Yes, you're infinite consciousness, but you're also a human in this moment. And if you don't have the right relationships to support your humanness, to then help you raise your level of consciousness, you might be out of alignment with the 2021 shift. You might be meditating in your room all day, but you might be running away from the shadow of society needs people like you to have better relationships and work with humans that are perhaps not aligned in helping them as well. We gotta help the world. We have to help people wake up. We have to help people learn who they are. And if you're neglecting human relationship as a part of that, then you might be doing a disservice to the planet by not having the right relationships in your life and not using the relationships in your life as a tool to help you and help the world simultaneously. See, so relationships are going to be a huge part of this Great Awakening and the 2021 shift. So I invite and encourage you to manage your relationships in a conscious way, to bring consciousness to the areas of your life where your relationships might not be completely in balance, to invite people into your life that are going to be aligned with your values and frequency and what you want to create in the world. And if there's somebody in your life that is not in alignment, I'm not going to say cut them out, but be conscious of how you're going to handle that relationship. And if it is getting to the point where the frequencies are too imbalanced, hey, maybe you do need to let go of some people in your life. And if you don't, how can you allow those people to support your growth, help them as well, and make it a win-win? See, as a bonus, what I believe the 2021 shift is about is a win-win society. Not just you win for yourself, but everybody wins because everybody knows the truth of who they are. They know that the energy source of who they are is within them. And then while they have that energy source, they give energy and other people are giving energy. How does that manifest in the external world? That is beyond my human mind. I can't tell you, but all I can say is that it's gonna look pretty goddamn awesome. And the truth is that it starts within you and the relationships that you build and how aligned you are with your heart individually to then change how the world looks collectively. So that's all I have for this video. Leave a comment down below in terms of what your thoughts were on this 2021 shift. And if any of these signs, any of these things resonated with you in your heart, leave a comment down below sharing what you think, because I love to hear your story and so does everybody else as well. And if they don't, well then that's fine. I love to hear it. I love to hear your story. So leave a comment down below in terms of what your thoughts are. So if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation, to let go of your ego and align with the vision that your heart wants to create. So as always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.